Hello FPL fans, today we've got the Euro Fantasy Introduction on How to Play Basics video. In this video we're going to take a look at the How to Play Basics rules and scoring for Euro Fantasy, which is just around the corner. We will be releasing our Euro Fantasy first draft coming soon, so if you want to see that, stay tuned. Also, if you want to join our own Euro Fantasy League, the code is on screen now and there will also be a link in the description. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So first of all, take a look at the basics of how to play Euro Fantasy. You can pick your squad with a £100 million budget on 15 players, which involves 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, 3 forwards and 2 goalkeepers. Scoring points will be reflected based on their real life performances, so the better the players do in game, the higher their points tally. Also, just like FPL, you do have chips in Euro Fantasy, which include the Limitless and Wildcard chips. The wildcard chip allows you to make unlimited transfers for that one game week, which does stay for the rest of the season, whereas the limitless token allows you to make unlimited transfers for the one game week, which only apply for that game week, so sort of similar to the free hit token. Also, you can put a captain's armband on any player in your squad, which does double their score for that game week. And as we touched on the intro, you can set up leagues with friends, family and colleagues and battle for bragging rights. Obviously our league is going to be linked in the description, so if you want to join that, please feel free. So now moving on to some Euro Fantasy rules. The key ones to look out for include having only 3 players from the same nation during the group stage of the Euros tournament. So for example, if you were looking at your English assets, you could only have a maximum of 3 players, which could include Kane, Mason Mount or Trent Alexander-Arnold for example. This will increase throughout the tournament as teams do get knocked out. You will be able to have more players from the one nation, and then eventually in the final you'll be able to have a maximum of 6 players from the same nation. Another key one to look out for is the captaincy pick system in the UEFA Fantasy. This is a bit different from FPL rules in terms of the fact that you can change your captaincy mid-game week. So essentially how this works is, over a match week of Euro games, there will be about 3 or 4 days span, so the key is to captain a player that plays on that first day of the 4-day match week, because if they don't play well, then you can change the captaincy to a different player and the double points will be removed from the first player and applied to the second player that hasn't played yet. As I said before, this only works if you captain a player that plays on the first day of the match week and then move it to a player that plays later on in that match week. Similarly to this, automatic substitutions do occur, so you can make substitutions mid-game week as well, similar to the captaincy. The key is to start players that play on the first day of the match week and bench players that play later on in the match week, and then if you don't like the score of the players that do start, you can substitute them out for the players on your bench to get their points instead. Also, during each group stage you are allowed 2 free transfers, but this will increase throughout the tournament as I said before. As teams start getting knocked out, the Euro Fantasy will allow you to have more transfers to accommodate for players departing the squad. So the main takeaways from the Euros Fantasy rules is that you can make live substitutions and live captaincy changes mid-game week if you select players to captain and start that play on the first match day of the game week. So now moving on to some scoring that applies to all players on the pitch, starting off with the appearance, which is worth 1 point, and also if you play 60 minutes on the pitch you get 2 points. Another key feature to notice with this scoring for UEFA Euros is that our long range goal is worth 1 point, so that is going to be a goal from outside the box. You get an additional bonus point on top of the goal points. As I said before, an assist is 3 and 3 balls recovered is 1 point. Winning a penalty is worth 2, conceding a penalty is -1, a missing penalty is -2, a yellow card -1, a red card -3, and own goal is -2. So the key one to look out for there is that long range goal, which doesn't apply in FPL, so you do get that extra 1 bonus point on top of the goal points. And as I said before, that 3 balls recovered for 1 point is quite a good one for defensive midfielders and players in defence, as they often don't get attacking returns in FPL, so this does allow them to get some even returns in the Euros. So just taking a look at the overall summary of the How to Play Basics and tutorial for the UEFA Euro Fantasy. In the How to Play section, the key takeaways are having a €100 million budget for 15 players, which includes 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, 3 attackers and 2 goalkeepers, and you have a maximum of 3 players from the same nation in the first game week. This will increase as the tournament goes on. So before the group stage there are unlimited transfers, match days 1 to 6 there is 2 free transfers per match day. Before the round of 16 first leg there is an unlimited batch of transfers, so after that first time that there is a bunch of teams that get knocked out of the tournament you are allowed unlimited transfers. Then before the round of 16 second leg you get 3 free transfers. Before the quarterfinal first leg you get 5 free transfers. Once again you get extra transfers there because more teams get knocked out. The second leg you get 3 more transfers, semi-final first leg 5 transfers, semi-final second leg 3 transfers, and before the final you get 5 transfers. So there is no doubt plenty of free transfers available, so just based on that a key tip would be to choose players from teams that are likely to go far in the tournament so you can save as many transfers as possible later on. Just on that, from matchday to matchday, player prices will remain the same until matchday 3, and once the matchday 2 deadline has passed, player prices will be adjusted based on their performances in the competition. And once again, you can create or join your own leagues. We have made our own league, so join that if you feel like it. You can make your own league as well and play with mates, but it is just a good way to get with the community in the Euro Fantasy and have some fun. Also, another key segment of the how to play section is the chips of wildcard and limitless. Once again, the wildcard gives you the chance to change your squad as much as you like, and when you make it you can play free unlimited transfers, and any players you transfer in will stay in your squad once the match day is finished. And this chip can only be used once per season, so you should use it wisely. Once you've played it, it cannot be cancelled. And then the Limitless token. Limitless gives you the chance to change your squad for one match day only. When you play it, you get unlimited free transfers for that match day with no budget restrictions, which means you can have the most expensive squad that you want. But once again, once this match day is finished, your squad will return to how it was before you played Limitless. Now moving on to the summary of the Euro Fantasy rules. The key rules that are different between Euro Fantasy and FPL include the live captaincy and substitutions between game weeks, and the 2 free transfers during group stage, which changes over the time. Live captaincy and substitution does allow you to change your captain and sub in and sub out players during the game week, so if your captain doesn't perform well, you can change your captain to a player that hasn't played yet, and the captaincy points will be removed from the original player and added to the second player. Similarly with substitutions, if you have a player on your pitch that doesn't score as well as you would like or gets injured, you can substitute them for a player on your bench that hasn't played yet. If you have a player on your bench that has played, you cannot substitute them onto the field, so it is very unlikely if they get a huge haul of points and they're on your bench because you cannot sub them on. Moving on to the Euro scoring summary, the main differences between the Euro scoring compared to the FPL scoring is that in Euros you get points for interceptions, which does bring in CDMs and defenders into the game for those extra points. So for every 3 interceptions you get 1 point, which does allow players to get an even amount of points across all positions on the field. Also, another key thing that I missed before, with the maximum 3 players from the same nation. In the group stage you can have only 3 players from the same nation in your squad, but from the round of 16 you can have up to 4 players, quarterfinals you can have up to 5 players, semi-finals up to 6 players, and in the final you can have a maximum of 8 players from the same nation in your squad. So there is plenty of wiggle room there to change up your team and favour the potentially winning side.